This is the iPad 9th generation and the last iPad to actually include a home button. Now you might be asking in the comments, why did I buy this older iPad when there's already the iPad mini, the upgraded iPad 10th generation, the iPad Air, and the iPad Pro? I'll be answering that all in this video and also showing you why this iPad can be worth still in 2023. For the packaging, I will give a high rating, not because of the usual Apple transition stuff, but as we know, it includes the manual instructions and also some documentation or regulatory certificates. But on the other side, we get some Apple stickers on the iPad, not on the Apple Pencil. But the Apple Pencil packaging actually includes a replaceable tip. So in case your first generation Apple Pencil, if the tip breaks, you can just take the tip off and you can replace it. So that is pretty nice, considering that you don't have to pay for an extra tip that may cost more, as we know that Apple is a very premium company and they like to charge stuff more than they can chew. So we also get some pretty nice adapters. So this can actually extend the charging capabilities of the first generation. So as we know, the Apple Pencil, we can take off the tip and we can charge it by plugging it into your iPad from the bottom, which is a bit ridiculous, but using the adapters, you can plug this into the adapter, and with that you can use a lightning cable to extend it and to charge it from the iPad's power adapter instead of the iPad itself, which is pretty handy. And come to think of it, the packaging is also more recyclable, I guess. The wrappings for the iPad is from a different material from the last generations. Probably this is for Apple's green gold, which means that it's more recyclable and also more tidy in style. Now I'm just retelling the information. This 9th generation iPad is in space gray, as you can see from the color. It also has 64 gigabytes of storage, an A13 Bionic chip. It supports the first generation pencil, and also it has a 10.2-inch Retina display, which is kind of nice. It also supports Touch ID, not Face ID, because this is an older model. It also supports iPadOS 17 out of the box. So as you can see, I'm running iPadOS 17. You can judge from the lock screen, which has a custom font and also a picture of me, which I won't explain to detail online. And this iPad is very thin and light considering the size. You might be thinking that the lightest is the iPad mini, but I'm judging that this is light because from the price itself, judging from the prices that I spent on this and the Apple Pencil, actually this is very cheap. So in Indonesia, we got this from a supplier because there's no first party retail store, and I got the iPad for no less than $300. I also bought the pencil for about $100 or so, which is less than what you can buy on other countries, probably because of the different prices and the currency value in every country. So of course this iPad is perfect for students. So if you're a student like me or a graphic designer, this is probably perfect because I often draw a lot to make something like logos, or I make some characters like you saw on Instagram and also on a few shorts of mine. The iPad makes a great display for the pencil. I mean, the pencil works fluidly, even though it's a first generation, it still works very well. It supports some features like pressure sensitivity, and of course, you can't magnetically attach it. I mean, you can technically, but it's not the practical, it's not really strong because the magnets are from the speakers or from the keyboard connector. So I wouldn't actually recommend you to stick your pencil inside or next into the side of your iPad. Of course, I do have some issues and negativities regarding of this model. So as we know, the iPhone can support tap to wake up, but in this model it doesn't support it. So my advice to you is, if you want a more durable iPad, you should get the iPad 10th generation or newer. I'm just complaining about this because my iPhone 6s Plus, which is older than this iPad, actually supports tap to wake up instead of this iPad, the newer one. It doesn't support it, which is a shame, but still a great value. Of course, this iPad doesn't support Face ID, the first generation pencil doesn't stick, and this tip that hides the lightning port may get lost because I've seen a lot of reviews considering that they lost the tip of the lightning port. Very often they have to buy a new one. Well, regarding all these negativities, actually the first time I want to buy an iPad, I didn't mind the negativities, and after this I didn't regret it at all, because as we know, because I'm a student and also a graphic designer, I don't really use the iPad for complicated stuff like, for example, heavy editing, heavy modeling. I'm just going to draw with the pencil on Procreate or on RStudio Pro. It's not really a big of a deal considering that I got this for a really low price. In my opinion, $300 and $100 for the pencil means I spent over $400, which is not too bad considering that I'm using this mainly for its portability and simplicity, not for a powerhouse, because I already have an iMac and a MacBook to do that. This is just portability if I want to go to school, for animation stuff, for editing. I'm just going to use the MacBook or the iMac, which is Final Cut Pro, which is already nice. But still, overall, the main point of this video is to show you that even though a product seems cheaper, seems more budgetable, doesn't mean that all the features are lost. You can see from the iPad I'm holding, I'm already very happy with this iPad because this already includes the features that I want. I already got the pencil so I can draw on the iPad. It has iPadOS 17, which means I can get most apps onto here. I can load them, I can draw stuff with this iPad, and a great note taker for my daily life, and also for you because you can get this iPad at apple.com itself. Actually, Apple still supports this even though they already released the 10th generation iPad. This is because this is actually the cheapest iPad you can buy from them, because regarding it's an older model, the 10th generation actually have some issues. For example, even though it does support Apple Pencil, it supports the first generation, which means it's not very different to the 9th generation I have here. Of course, it supports the Apple Pencil USB-C, but if you want a bigger pencil, you want the first generation, the 9th generation will do you just fine. Newer doesn't mean it's better. And of course, if you want to save budget, this is ultimately the best for on-the-go developers, businessmen, students, and graphic designers that want extra portability with minimal budget. So thank you for joining on this Conversion Insider episode, and don't forget that I actually have a new channel in WhatsApp called Convertly Studios. So note, I launched my own studio and I'm going to be uploading new games and applications, so you might want to join for extra updates, statuses, and also some information regarding when I'm going to launch these applications and games. So that's overall this video. Thanks and have a good one.